horse to beat. I just didn't think he was necessarily worth that short a price.
I think in a lot of ways, well, you didn't love him though, right? I think it makes the race more interesting.
No, he was the interesting. What I kind of wonder is how much of the money that was going to go to him is going to go to the other Baffert runner, Imagination, who I think is now going to be a distinct underlay because, at least in my opinion, he is extremely inferior to Muth. But he's fast early. He has a lot of speed.
Yeah, I totally agree with all those points. I think Muth is much the better horse than that horse. But look, it's Baffert. Got to be. You always have to be scared. But he is going to take all that Muth money.
But you and I were just talking before we came on about Mystic Dan, and I think my perspective is that he's probably going to be an underlay. He'll be the favorite now. But I think we both agree that there's a very good chance he wins this race.
Yeah, everyone's saying, oh, this horse is such a toss. He ran so hard in the Kentucky Derby. And, Kenny McPeek had said, I don't want to run him back initially in 2 weeks because he ran one of the worst races of his life. He's grown and matured a little bit since then. He did that back when he was a 2-year-old. That was, I think, the first time he was stretching out, going longer, routing too, when he came back that quick. I think this horse is maybe getting really good right now. And you said it to me, and it's true. We see it a lot. A lot of horses, they win the Derby, and they're just starting to get good, and they keep it rolling at least for another race.
Yeah, no, I agree. We have seen so many horses over the years run huge. Funny Side, the best race he ever ran at that point in his career. I mean, Smarty Jones's Preakness was a tour de force. I mean, that was a definitively great performance by him. So to just assume they're coming back short is kind of nonsensical. And while I think he may be a bit of an underlay, but I also think with his draw and the scratch, well, it doesn't matter with Muth, he should be able to get to the inside in the first turn. And I do think he's a horse that not only the saving ground help him, but he seems to run better when he's able to be on the rail. He's just happier there.
And he's fearless. I mean, he will run inside of incredibly tight spots, and that's one of the moves that helped win him that Kentucky Derby. I mean, he scraped some rail around that second turn going into the stretch, and it didn't hamper him at all.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to run very well. We'll see what happens in that Preakness. Of course, that's Saturday afternoon. Terrific 11-race card here, and the good news is the rain is out of the way. Going to be nice the rest of the weekend, so we're anticipating a lot of good racing here this weekend. That Saturday card is an excellent one as well. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member, use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match with $200 of your initial deposit. Once there, you can check out strat stats when you go over at the Naira Bet site, of course, and our man Matthew DeSantis, who he's working his way up to be he's the James Brown of Naira Bets, that's for sure. He is producing content. He is.
Oh, okay.
Matthew. I mean,
I wondered where
he's
you
like
were
a
going
whirling
with that comment.
No, he's like a whirling dervish of production. The guy's all over the place, and Matthew's doing a terrific job over there, and we appreciate it. And also, finally, last but not least, we are on from 1 to 5 today, covering our action today. In the first race, I didn't even notice when I first handicapped this race that it was scheduled for turf. Now, the rain was actually not even as bad as they originally predicted, but we always knew, and you can get rid of that. We're coming on and talking about the first race now. Thanks. I didn't realize, and then I went back. I knew the turf pedigrees anyway. I knew the pedigrees. How much it changed things, I don't know, because like you, I went to the 5 Moonlight Promises. I feel like this is the first Promises fulfilled I've seen. Is he a new sire this year?
Yeah, I believe so. This is the first one I've seen too, and pretty good sprinter for Dale.
Yeah, very good. Won
Little
the
bit
Alan Jerkins.
concerned with the light work tab with this horse, but
Can
obviously
we assume he was working on the farm at some level for Mark Cassie?
maybe produced a pretty good one named Coppertown, who won
Ty
the
Fletcher.
second, third, fourth starts of his career in a row with 98, 106, 101 buyers all on dirt.
And there were a few other foals that could run as well. He wasn't the only one. There were a couple that weren't great, but there were 3 other foals I thought ran pretty well.
And the second Dam 2, Grade 2 winner on dirt. So there's a bit to like. Obviously, look, Wesley Ward horse has shown quick work. May 5th, Keeneland coming back 3 furlongs. This horse can be fast out of the gate. Was 3-5 on dirt in that debut. I would think this horse can probably run a little bit better than we saw.
I thought
It's going to be such a short price.
I thought about trying to show the replay, but as many of you know, replays at Gulfstream are kind of like a Jackson Pollock painting. They sort of leave it to your imagination what actually took place in the race, so I didn't see any reason to show it. I thought he hit the gate. I don't, did you watch it? I didn't get the impression his head was turned.
I didn't think it was terrible.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to see.
And there's a wonder if this horse can run at all.
But had opportunities after that to run and did not at all, yeah.
Yeah, so I picked him second like you did because it's Wesley. Thought the 2 was more interesting than the turf, and of course partly owned by Seth Morris. Seth was leading the NHC into the very last race and finished second. I've known Seth for many years. Good guy.
Brutal.
So we'll see how they do. But that one has much more turf pedigree, the 2. The Sugars, race number 2. Race number 2, a big scratch with Ashburn Alley coming out. And as we take a look at the replay of Nudesley, who's now lost 2 straight heartbreaking...
Nudesley.
Should we spell it differently? Do we know what Nudesley is?
I don't know.
And, you know, I've noticed with a couple of names in here that the first 2 names that had nothing to do specifically but Peter, I saw that owner Peter Callahan passed away.
Oh, no.
And Peter, of course, was a big owner in this game for many, many years. And our condolences to his family. I just read that he passed away a few days ago. I noticed the chaplaincy tweeted that out. With the scratch of Ashburn Alley, wasn't that the only horse? I mean, I guess Perpetual Praise could go.
I don't think he's as fast.
I didn't think she was either. So, wow, you did it and I didn't. That's
I'm learning from you.
Right. It's learning bad habits from me. I don't know, Greg. I just feel for this horse, and she's run so well, and I'm not trying to beat her in this spot. So we both have her on top.
Yeah, I think she is absolutely the quickest filly in this field, and the one who beat her last time out, that was her stablemate, who's 5 for 7, by the way, now, and it was the favorite half of that entry. I think
she
she's
got
gonna
some
be tough.
trip to beat her in there.
Yeah.
Coming up the inside, she's run bang up 2 in a row, and I think if she runs back to those, she'll be very tough to beat. I'm also, you've got her second, I've got her third. I'm not Voluse's biggest fan. To be fair, she ran the best race she's ever run in the dirt last time out. I just feel like the 6 is a better horse, and I don't mind taking the 4 to finish second to maybe pick up the pieces.
Yeah, I agree, and I just feel like, to me, that last race, it's even sort of more of a red flag because it was such a big jump forward on some of the figures, you know, thoroughgraph-wise too. It's almost like almost like a 1-number horse. It was such an improvement. So in a lot of ways, I don't trust that Voluse can do it again.
Yeah,
start number 18
that was my
of her
feeling,
career.
and that was my feeling with her. So it makes my position on the 6th even stronger, as we have the same for 2 in the first 2 races. Race number 3. This is an interesting race, and I'm curious where you're going here. And you've gone to the 7, Better Be Smart, who we'll get to in a moment. I want to talk about Focus Pocus, who's 7-2 in here. I thought this was a very disappointing effort. I mean, slipped up a good rail on Wood Memorial Day, passed a firster for Christophe Clement like that horse was standing still, and that horse came back and beat Focus Pocus. And I'm going to have to ask Horacio De Paz at some point, is he really confident this horse wants to get a mile?
Yeah.
Or is this the race that came up and he thought, I'll take a shot? Going to be the speed, but I just wonder about this horse's stamina.
No, I mean, there's major question marks with that. I mean, this horse is going to control in this race, but you cannot feel very confident off that performance at all. And yeah, the fact that they've taken 3 shots, it's almost like they just want to try something new, and maybe they'll get the right spot. I thought there's some decent horses though in this race.
Your horse should probably be sitting second. Is that one of the thoughts that Better Be Smart could maybe stalk outside this horse with blinkers on?
Yeah, I mean, the horse no doubt is going to be stalking, and I don't know if it's going to be, but
Pace
second,
Projector
third.
has her second. Whether
Okay.
or not that's the case remains to be seen.
I love the 2 sprints foundation stretching out to a mile. Charlie Baker, I saw he was 12% stretching out, but I love having those 2 sprints as the foundation and then getting that trip going around a ground in here. And Charlie Baker to me is so underrated.
I love Charlie. He's been struggling a bit lately, but it's more a function of the horses he has. And I don't know. I'm kind of giving up a little on this horse. Came out of a weak race first time out. I wish that this horse did more running. Lost footing at the start. I didn't see it as anything that really affected the horse. I guess I won't be shocked if she improves to get it done. I think you have to talk about other horses like Top of the Table. And one of the things about Top of the Table is that Caller Bluff, we'll see this video actually a couple of times today with race number 7 being off the turf, as Call Your Bluff is running later. And it'll be interesting to see if Top of the Table can run back to it. Did, though, she improve in her second start, or did she improve getting a fast track? Because she gets a wet track today. Yeah. So she did run pretty well here, I thought. You're not a fan?
I just didn't. I didn't love the way she finished in the stretcher. I didn't.
I don't love this horse either. So you're preaching the choir. I don't trust this race.
I mean, this is one of the main players in the round. Look, I have her second. She's one of the main players, and the fact that she did it at a mile, you know, it's not some dominating race, but at least she showed that ability at a mile and hung around. I think you got to use her.
I'm going to bet on Mama's Got a Gun. I had a stat for Linda. Linda Rice, second-time starter, stretching out in the dirt in maidens. They're 7 for 28, 267 ROI. She has good numbers all around, 1668 stretching out maidens with a $2.13 ROI. I feel like this is a horse that needed the first race. There it is. You guys found the stats. There they are. I thank you for that, by the way. I don't love the race this one's coming out of. This just has a look of a gun runner stretching out second time out. For Linda, whose horses frequently do run better second time out, is just going to improve a lot today against a bunch of horses I don't really want to take, unless you're taking the Arrogate first time starter Devil's Arrow. Now, you're not going to take the horse off the 2-year-old sales work because it was incredibly slow, but I always am scared of Jonathan Thomas coming in here.
Yeah, the dam apparently is a sister of Grade 1 winner Awesome Humor. Second dam was a multiple stakes winner as well. So that one's going to take a little bit of money. So at 3 is interesting. You know, back to Mama's Got a Gun. Winner of that race came back, won a state bred.
Same figure. To be
but Linda we saw it at Saratoga last year. Horses that had no business being able to stretch out. In sprinters, she got sprinters stretching out to 1.25 miles. I mean, 1.125 miles at Saratoga. It was insane. She is so good at that. I see where you're going. I mean, Mama's Got a Gun, major player. She's just has an incredible knack for that.
She is the
but
money
with
line favorite,
one start,
surprises me.
I'm a little concerned.
Okay, I like the second-time starter. We'll see what happens. I'm surprised she's the morning line favorite. I was hoping she'd be a better price, but we'll see what happens in here. Race number 4 was sliced up quite a bit with scratches, and I had liked Mongolian Panther in this race, and I thought it left the pickings relatively slim. We'll start the conversation with She's Awesome, the number 1, who you have on top and I have second. She's been in good form. I had originally thought this was a tougher field, but I guess she's just the worst to beat.
I just think she's going to be too difficult in here. And she's consistent, too. She shows up. She's been first or second in 12 of 17 lifetime starts. This was a pretty big drop last time out, wasn't it? I mean, she was 1-5 in this race. She won pretty easily, voided claim, but
I don't love that, but she's just the worst to beat in here.
She's tactical. She could be.
Does it worry you that there may be other speed, that she's going to have to rate from the inside? Does that bother you a little bit?
That is a problem.
Because aren't the 2 Willful Desire and the 4 Everly's Girl supposed to be faster? And one thing about Romero Mirage, he goes.
Yeah.
He's aggressive, which I like a lot.
Yeah, I would expect both those 2 to go. I don't think She's Awesome needs the lead. I think could sit and track. Willful Desire to me is not going to finish. I did not.
Oh,
think.
I'm not in love with their chances. You've got him second, third. I don't like either one.
Everly's Girl, I think, is very interesting because this horse is a couple of 2 back, 4 back races that can really win here. But the horse is just,
I don't trust the claim.
does not show up sometimes.
Her good races make her very tough. I just don't trust her off the claim. And I went to Peter Walder shipping in here. We'll show the race 2 back down at Gulfstream where she ran a 75 buyer. Time form does not have the figure that good. I'm not thrilled with the horse that beat her last time. This is her race at Gulfstream, 2 races back, Awesome Anna Marie. But honestly, I just wanted a new face here, Greg. I've just seen enough of them, and I worry a little about Awesome Marie breaking from the inside with 2 speeds outside of her, how that's going to work out. And I even think that Beautiful Karen's going to be forwardly placed. Beautiful Karen is an enigma, right? Because sporadically, she runs races that can win here.
Very sporadically.
But most of the time, she runs races that get her absolutely nothing. So while I want to use her somewhere in my play, because if she shows up off the layoff and she hasn't run in 4 months, she can win. I'm just going to take the new face coming in. I'm not confident, though. She's as good as these. You don't like her.
No, look, if She's Awesome doesn't show up, this becomes an incredibly wide open race. I just thought she's a major standout if she runs any of her last 5 or 6 races.
Going to be a short price. No,
Yeah.
I see it. We'll see what happens. Race number 4, we'll be back with the late pick 4 after a quick break.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Greg Wolf and Andy Serling. I'm a little disappointed Shade of Pale scratched. I love that song.
Share your story.
Well, I was telling Greg, having been to quite a few Grateful Dead concerts, they frequently...
Quite a few is an underlay.
They frequently, when the show ended, they would play Lighter Shade of Pale, as some of you out there who went to Dead shows would know. And it was just like the perfect song when the lights came on and people were sort of leaving, was Lighter Shade of Pale. Anyway, that's why I like Lighter Shade of Pale, but did not like her in this race. Now, they're off the turf and there's just very little left in here. And I've gone to Linda Rice. You've got her second. My feeling is she's running the one that ran worse. She claimed 2 out of the same race at Keeneland. She's running one of them, and I'm just going to go with Linda Rice off the claim, though the one you've got, That's the Fact, Jack, probably ran a little bit better. Excuse me.
She did. It was her first dirt start as well. It was after 5.5 month layoff. We're talking about That's the Fact, Jack, the 7. So that's ultimately why I decided to go with her. But she might have problems if someone pushes up front, which the one's probably going to do.
The one just going?
Yeah.
The one looks like she could be going, gone.
So that's major problem for the 7, isn't it?
One of these two is probably going to win the race, and they're going to be about 3-5 and 6-5, if not 3-5 and even money, because addressable market's a little tough to make a case for on the dirt, and Sisney's a first-time starter with turf pedigree who's entering the turf. We appreciate Rudy leaving her in. I honestly don't understand why everybody had to scratch out, but I guess looking at them, none of them have any dirt for them, so I can't blame them for that.
And then, another reason I wound up winding up with a 7 in here at Golden Degree, I just have concerns about the distance, but we don't know. It gets an easy enough lead in here.
Sire was pretty good at a mile.
Yeah, Golden Sense.
Won the Breeders' Cup Mile twice. See what happens in race number 5, but there'll be a short price winner in all likelihood, whether it's the 1 or the 7. Race number 6, an interesting maiden race. I'm not sure what it is with Rick Dutcher that he refuses to run his horses on wet tracks, but it gets a little bit boorish, especially when you consider he's had some pretty impressive performances on wet tracks with his horses over the years. Anyhow, treaty obligation we'll start with. You've gone with first-time starters, we'll get to, and this horse has had plenty of chances. Here's the second behind Abaddon and Saratoga. And listen, you're talking about a Chad Brown first-time starter, and we can take a look at that replay, that has had a plethora of chances and failed to get it done. But in fairness, this horse has only been a very short price once. It's not like this horse has been losing races where he was absolutely supposed to win. But 0 for 5 Chads with layoffs, though I have a good stat for Chad with layoffs. And he did lose to a decent horse in Abaddon. I didn't pick him, but of the ones that ran. Well, I don't know. Is he that much the horse to beat over Light the Way, who we'll show next?
No, look, this horse, we have too high of expectations, I guess, for this barn, don't we? This horse has run pretty good as we look at your trainer stats right there. That was a very good horse. But then you also see they yelled this horse. He's been away for all that time. So I thought there were some reasons to go elsewhere.
I don't have any problem with that at all. And Light the Way ran well last time. We'll take a look at Light the Way. And speaking of Chad Brown, a Klarovich runner, lost to an impressive-looking first-time starter who won despite being very green in there. Javier could barely ride. You'll see the horse on the outside. And I thought Light the Way ran pretty well. It's interesting to note, though, Cage Match, who finished just behind her, who scratched, he was entered a $75,000 maiden claimer last week, and Rick scratched when it came up wet.
Well, this one, too, this was the best race this horse ran. This was a very good effort, and it would make this horse a major player in here. I'm just concerned of a horse next door who's working, has a monster bullet drill. That other speed in here is going to be a problem for this horse, because I don't know if this horse is going to be able to get the lead like he did last time.
Well, some of that may depend on what Donegal momentum is, because this is one where the line in all likelihood is wrong, and this horse worked 45-2. It says breezing from the gate.
Out of the gate, yeah.
That reminds me of that work that what's her name had, Ways and Means up in Saratoga, and there has been scuttlebutt about this horse for quite a while. So now listen, hot horses lose. This horse is going to be a short price, especially Donegal Racing. Their people support their horses. But the word is out that this is a runner, and I think Donegal Momentum will probably be under 2-1 in here. Now, I don't know that this is true, but somebody told me that Javier compared this horse to Bernardini when he got off him once. Javier, if you didn't say it, I apologize. You can yell at me later. But somebody told me that...
Is that a racetrack rumor?
Well, it's a racetrack story.
Okay.
Are all racetrack stories rumors? In a way, they're all rumors.
Bernardini, okay.
I'm just telling you. So, but you never know. We'll see. This is going to be a hot firster, and I decided not to get in the way of this one.
So why isn't he running in Pimlico this weekend?
A little late for that. Deputy Mischief, the horse you have on top. Talk about an expensive.
Hey, real quick, too, with Donegal Momentum. Second Dan, stakes winner, grade 2 placed.
It's all turf, though.
On turf, yes.
It's all turf, this family.
But obviously the horse can run a little on dirt.
Yeah. Well, he can work a little bit. Work more.
Work, yeah.
He goes 45 and 2.5 here. I think he'll be in front. Talk about Deputy Mischief.
So it's Belmont, first time out. Lescano working at Payson Park. $475,000 into Mischief. Dam was grade 1 placed on dirt, grade 3 winner on synthetic, produced first out winner, Brooklyn Diamonds, who wound up becoming a 3-time winner as well.
And then the other 3 foals were, you know what else? You know what else this horse after?
Who?
Delightful Flame in the first race.
Ah.
Half brother and sister today. Do you think they'll have a chance to talk to each other at some point? I think it'll be nice.
Well, so does that hold any clues to how this horse is going to do if Wesley wins the opener?
No, none whatsoever. What about the Todd Pletcher first race, Spitestown, that cost $180,000, the first foal, mediocre dam, mediocre second dam, but it is a Todd Pletcher first-time starter. You don't want to ignore them. They don't even get bet and they can run.
That's true.
So we'll see what happens in this race, but I think this is one of the more curious ones because of all the scuttlebutt about Donegal Momentum. Drunk on Sake, by the way. It's a good name.
You think
there's a story with Drunk on Sake? Can we get the Cantermachis to reveal the Drunk on Sake
college,
story?
I mean, probably everyone has a sake story, but sake bombs, where you drop the...
I don't know this, but I've heard of it.
You drop the sake shot in a beer and shoot it. Sake bomb.
You've had sake martinis, have you not?
No.
You've never had them at like Nobu or anywhere else?
But I did go to an interesting place that they started in Japan called, and it's in the city, Guzzle and Sip, that you need to check out.
Okay. Sake martini, sake takes the bite a little bit out of the vodka.
Okay.
You can drink a lot of them and get very, very drunk. Race number 7 is off the turf. Greg has stolen my picks from me. I actually saw him do it. I saw him do it. It was one of the most embarrassing moments. He's wait, they don't even have your right picks up there.
They don't.
After you, Greg's picks are 7, 6, 14, 1.
1A.
1A. 7, 6, 14, 1A. You see, I told you he stole my picks. And they just left it up there to humiliate you after I said that. 7, 6, 14, 1A for Greg. I went 7, 6, and I do have some replays. And why don't we start with the 6 next on stage, and then we'll talk about La Vida Sofia. This is the horse that beat Next on Stage. We've seen this replay before. We'll see it again right now. And I feel a little bit, I know the wet track mitigates it a little bit, because maybe you want to run better than the other at a wet track, but I'm kind of curious to see because, but this horse has run faster figs before, and I always respect Horacio de Paz, so one of the ones to beat.
Do you think this horse controls?
I have not looked at the pace projector, but let me look.
Seems like it.
Keep It Sexy has no real speed. From Hello has no real speed. Baroness Bourbon has no real speed.
By the way, I did like Keep It Sexy if this was going to be on the turf. It was 30-1. Very weather.
Really?
Oh, well.
Really? Wow. 10-pound bug rider, 7-pound bug rider on the turf. You're a man of great courage, much more courage than I have.
But yeah, this horse, I think this horse is in front and will control it. Main player. I thought between these two, the 7 and the 6.
All right. As far as the 7, La Vida Sofia, the last race wasn't that good. I looked up the layoff. I didn't send this stat in, but Rudy Rodriguez, 180 to 360 days, 6 to 12 month layoffs in dirt routes. He's 4 for 12 with 6 hitting the board and 237 ROI. So his horses do come back and run well in those races. He's handled a wet track, or she has, excuse me, and I just thought she was super logical. So like you, I put her on top.
I don't know. I'm not worried about that last race. Obviously, something.
I always worry
wrong,
about
right?
layoffs. Yeah, I worry about layoffs. But
I'm
he
worried
has
about the
decent
layoffs.
numbers. Yeah,
I'm not worried about why the horse probably had an excuse to run
Yeah.
that bad because the horse was gone. But this horse was second to Sheet of Beauty. Obviously, someone along the way felt this horse had some ability in all those stakes races. Busher, Tempted, Demoiselle, and the horse in a couple of those races ran okay.
And I apologize. The next replay we'll look at, Call Her Bluff, is the one where she beat Top of the Table, who's running earlier for trainer Mark Hennig. And she did improve a lot. And that's my feeling. She's the one that improved a lot to get it done. And I kind of wonder how much we want to trust this race. That's why I didn't put this horse higher.
Yeah, I mean, this makes her one of, if not the main contenders in the race, but it took her 10 tries finally to break through, break that maiden, just gets up to win by a neck. And I just want some horses who've shown some ability against better company in here than someone like this. She's a major player, though. I want to see it again, though.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I didn't trust. And the same thing with Karen's Honor. She ran a big figure last time, but it's somewhat dichotomous, where I felt like horses like the 6 and 7 have more consistency in the races they've run. And I think many people will agree they are the two most logical horses in this race off the turf. Race number 8, I thought was interesting. And you are picking a horse that I think is very, very dangerous near Insonia's Flame, who ran well enough first time to win this race, and something obviously went wrong last time.
Yeah, she was in the same race as Book of Wisdom. For Book of Wisdom, it was her 7th race, 3-time beaten favorite. For Sonia's Flame, it was the debut. I actually thought this horse showed some gears, too, moving around the turn. Really showed some ability to put herself up into contention. Flattens out against Sunday Girl, who would win the New York Stallion Stakes next time out. Or, sorry, second in that stake. No, wait. No, did win that stake, sorry.
The Shoe Lady won her next start. Is that what you're talking about? She won her next start, not a stake.
Sunday Girl.
Oh, Sunday Girl. Yeah, Sunday Girl's pretty good. Dave
Yeah.
Duggan, right?
With a 66-70 buyer, improved 4 points. And then last time out, I'm not worried about that. And I'll put a line through that race. His comeback, his work quick. I think this horse in that debut showed a lot of ability, and there's just way more upside, certainly, than someone like the 7.
Yeah, I probably should have gone 197 here, to be honest with you, because Book of Wisdom is just getting tiresome. And Linda even had the horse last time, and the horse didn't run particularly well. So, yeah, I'm kind of not excited by that. I did want to show a replay here. I want to show Storm and Heist and Houdini's Bride. Storm and Heist, who finished second in there, but I wanted to show the star of the race, because Houdini's Bride took a lot of money in this race to be under 3-1 and got left. And I don't think ran that badly. My problem is, I think this is a better race. I think horses like the 9, even potentially the 7, are better horses. So even though I think Houdini Bride a little bit interesting because got bet first time and got left, I just think this race was pretty weak, the one they're coming out of.
I do too, but look, it was first time out with that bad break. Sort of had to run the entire race as a result. Look, broke second last in that spot. And to take that kind of money from this barn, it could be a big leap here second time out.
I agree, but I just thought it was a bad field. I wonder if that was one of the reasons she got bet. I'm betting Dramatic Effect. This horse has figs that are fast enough to win, gets a significant rider change to Louis Rivera, and I'm always interested in seeing Amram Abraham. We've seen him do well in past times, coming back and taking over the training of this horse, and I think this is a horse that might really move forward. 1s and 9s at the prices in this race. I probably should have gone 1 and 9.
Yeah, I mean, I think that horse is dangerous too. The equipment change too has actually paired up numbers the last couple of starts. So I think that we're going to see a forward move, whether win or lose, from that horse today.
See what happens. That is race number 8. That's today's 8-race card. We are sloppy and off the turf. Hopefully those conditions will improve. Unfortunately, weather is clear from going forward, at least on the predictions for the weekend. Match 200. Go to NYRABets.com. We'll match with $200 of your initial deposit. When you're over there, check out the track stats at NYRABets.com and the show today. I know you're doing the show today.
You and me, right? Started off?
You and me, baby. You and I are on from 1 to a little before 3. And Paul will be making a
Mr.
rare,
LaDuca is in the house.
He is making a rare appearance here at the Big A. He will be on, I assume, with Acacia late. Maggie will be on from the paddock during the day. So enjoy the show, and we're done.
Enjoyed it? Yeah, good luck, everyone.
Yeah, I'll tweet out that Preakness video when we gets posted on YouTube. Have a good one.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.